In this video, we're going to be looking at the 3 things you can do to get control of your diet, start losing that excess fat and building some of that lean muscle, even if your schedule is crazy busy. This is Body by Bisson, and I help people get fit after 40 in less than 1 hour per week. The way we're going to go through the steps today is from easiest to most advanced, just so you can choose exactly where you are and begin making a change today. The first place I'd like you to start is by tracking. It is probably the most important place we need to begin, because we need to find out what you're currently doing. By tracking your food, you're going to see what habits that you've got that you might need to improve upon, and the things that you're also doing really well so we can double down on and do more of. There's a great saying that I love, and it goes, what gets measured gets managed. It's hard to keep track of all of this stuff unless we're writing it down or actually putting it in what I like to use, MyFitnessPal. It's one of the easiest ways to track. It's really important to do because, let's face it, it's hard to keep track when we just rely on our memory. My memory's awful. I have to write things down all the time. And when it comes to remembering the one piece of chocolate that was on the side left presenting towards me and enticing me in, I'm not going to remember this moment when I shoveled it in, but it's these little things that can start to build up and start to build our waistline out. Especially when we get into the office, when we get into work, it's always someone's birthday, there's always cake, and it's just so tempting to be around it all the time. This is where we need to start. This is where we need to get a real grip so we know where you are, and what you're going to notice straight away are some of the things that you can start to change immediately. Once you've done that, once you've got about 4 to 7 days, the next place to start is by looking at your protein. This is where I normally move all of my clients into, because when we sit down and we look at their diary, we notice that they're getting between 30 and 60 grams of protein per day, which is nowhere near enough. We have trillions upon trillions of cells in our body that need repairing every single day. Some are growing, some are dying and need to be cleared off, and other changes are happening that just need a bit of upkeep and maintenance. Protein is the valuable resource that we need to make sure we are kept in top condition. If we're not getting the required amount or the ideal amount, then we start to suffer the consequences. That might mean you're losing muscle, and the less muscle you have, the more fat you're likely to put on because you've got less muscle to burn it, and you become more prone to injury. So we need to make sure we're getting what we need. We're giving the body the nutrients and the resources it needs to keep us in the best shape possible. What you put in is exactly what you get out. Now, you might be thinking, I don't know how much protein I need, and I'm about to tell you. I'm going to guide you on this. Don't worry, I'm with you. If you're a man, we need to be looking at your height. For the first 5 feet, you need 110 grams of protein. And then for every inch after, you need another 5 grams. So if you are 5'10", you need about 160 grams of protein per day as an ideal target. If you are a woman, you need 100 grams for the first 5 feet, and then 5 grams every inch after. Now you might be thinking, that's outrageous. I don't know how I can get that much into me every single day, and I don't even know what that looks like. And this is where I have to say, chill out, relax, don't worry. I don't expect you to go straight to the ideal number. That would be ludicrous. I take a much slower approach. So this is why we're going to go back to your tracking data. We're going to see in MyFitnessPal, it will tell you how many grams of protein you've got over the past few days that you've been tracking. And then I just want you to increase by 10%. Just by doing 10%, if you can maintain that new target for a week, then you can go up another 10% and gradually start to increase it. This is what's going to give you the long-term success and help you make it more of a habit instead of freaking out and trying to shovel food in even though you're not hungry. by getting that protein in, you're going to be able to see that your muscles are going to respond even better when you're doing your workouts at the gym. And your energy levels alone, they're going to feel a lot more sustained. You're not going to experience those peaks and those crashes as often as before. And it's going to even curb your cravings, all by just getting more of the nutrients your body needs. The next place I want you to start, once you've looked at your tracking and you know exactly what you like, let's start building in those snacks. Because at the end of the day, when it's a busy schedule, when you're running out of time, you just need something that you can grab and go. Now, I've got a few ideas for you, but this is where we need to sit down together and look at what is going to be easy for you and what fits your lifestyle in terms of a snack. So something that I like to do, I like to get a load of burger patties. I cook all of them in one hit, keep them in some Tupperware, keep them in the fridge, and then if I have to shoot off anywhere and I don't have time to cook, great, I just go in, grab one of the burger patties. It's a big protein hit, and then I'm good to go. The other thing is just by planning the food that you're gonna have. Know what you're going to have in advance. You don't need to go crazy and plan your whole month's life out. Just know what you're going to eat the next day. Put it into your fitness pal so you know exactly how much you're going to be having, and then instantly you're going to find ways to respond to it. You're going to find ways to fit it in, because you already know half of the problem, most of the time that people lose is actually in trying to figure out what they need to eat. So if you take the time to sit down and plan it out, plan your snacks and have them ready, then you're going to save so much time in the long run. And if you do that, you're not going to go off on a crazy binge or anything, because you're going to be much more suited. As a bonus, I want to share an extra thing you can be doing. Normally, when we are hungry or when we feel the urge to eat, it can actually be because we're thirsty. How crazy is that? Well, there's a fun little fact for you. So before we had easy access to food, before we could just walk down the road and get it, food was a lot harder to come by. And our bodies developed these little signals to tell when we've got food around and it's plentiful and when it's a little bit more scarce. And one of the main ways that we figured it out was by drought. When there's not enough water around us, when we're not drinking enough, when we're not hydrated enough, what that signals to our body and to our brain is that we're in a drought. And normally, and if you look at the wildlife kingdom, David Attenborough will help you here, when drought happens, famine often follows. So your body, by telling your body you're dehydrated, what will happen? It will signal that there is a famine coming, and what your body wants to do when it thinks there's a famine coming is hold on to those excess calories. It doesn't want to give up the fat, because all fat is just a fuel source waiting to be used. So this is something to keep in mind. When you're feeling hungry, go grab a quick glass of water and then see how you feel after about 20 minutes. One thing you can do to even increase this is by aiming to get at least 3 litres of water per day. But if that feels like too much, just aim for an extra glass of what you're doing already, and that will make the biggest difference. I hope you found this video useful. Please like and subscribe down below, leave a comment, ask a question. Looking forward to speaking to you next time.